Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which of course they will.
Today we're going to be watching Charlie's Angels.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Charlie's Angels came out in 2000 with a runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes. It was written by Ryan Rowe, Ed Solomon, and John August. It was directed by Mick G. The main stars are Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu sounds like such a cartoon movie name. Like the little girl that would be in The Grinch.
Yeah, Lucy, that makes sense, huh? A little alliteration. The movie's an adaptation of the 1970s TV show by the same name. This movie had a direct sequel in 2003. And the entire franchise had a reboot in 2019. So what do you think, Nat?
Well, I thought it was okay. It was really cheesy, though.
Yeah, and rewatching it, thought it was pretty cheesy myself.
And there weren't that many jokes. There would be like a funny moment, and then there would be like a whole 20 minutes without like a funny moment.
Yeah. It's kind of an action movie, but it was supposed to be kind of funny too.
I give it a 3.5.
A 3.5? Okay. All right. I was wondering where you were going with that. Okay, so like an average movie. Nothing spectacular. Nothing great.
No, nothing great. Why don't we get into the recap?
The movie begins on a plane where an African man, Mr. Jones, is trading diamonds with a man who has a bomb strapped to his chest. Then Mr. Jones grabs the man and jumps out of the plane with him.
The door opens so easily. Like, it's scary. Like, what if a little child was like walking around and they just like leaned up against the door and it like opened and they like fell out and died?
Goodbye, child.
That's so over. Concerning to me.
That's true. But I guess if it's an emergency door, you should probably make it easy to open as well in case of an emergency, you know?
Yeah.
But you're right. At least it should be like childproof, like, you know, like medicine or something like that.
Yeah. Which is, I still have trouble with.
Sometimes. Another skydiver, Alex, meets the two men mid-air and removes the bomb before it detonates. The trio land on a boat driven by a woman named Natalie. Mr. Jones takes off his mask, and it is another woman named Dylan, and they arrest the bomberman.
Natalie, just like me.
I didn't even know you were in this movie, Natalie. When did you sign up to be Natalie?
I don't know. I just showed up. I got bored one day.
You're like, I'll make a movie. Action star. These three women are part of a special forces crime-fighting organization called Charlie's Angels. Their leader is a disembodied voice on a speakerphone named Charlie. Their local contact is a man named Bosley. They all meet at headquarters when a woman named Vivian Wood hires them to find her employer, a man named Eric Knox, who's been kidnapped.
For some reason, I thought that like Charlie's Angels was like a group of like 6 women or something. Because I remember you were showing me Mom's wedding pictures, and there's like a picture with all of her and her like bridesmaids or whatever. And then you were like, oh, that's a Charlie's Angel picture. So I just assumed that there was a bunch of women.
No, it's 3. It's usually 3. I don't remember if there's ever been more than 3. I mean, there's been other angels, right?
Yeah.
Like one angel left after season 1 of the TV show. But there's always 3, but they all have poses, like when they do it.
Yeah.
But Mom had more than 3 bridesmaids, so that's why they had as many as they did. But it's true. It's one of those things that like photographers are like, okay, why don't you guys pose like Charlie's Angels to take pictures and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think, because before I was like, why do I think that there's more than 3? Like what got, and then now I remembered why.
You know that actor Bosley? So Bill Murray, he's like a funny guy. In the second movie, he was not asked to come back. So they recasted him for another character. I guess he had problems with the director. He had problems with Lucy Liu's character.
Whoa.
So, yeah, there's some drama that happened during there. So he wasn't in the second one. There was a different Bosley in the second one.
Wow.
I know. It's kind of funny.
I wonder if he like watched the whole movie like judgmentally, like of the new Bosley. He's like, I could have known that better.
Maybe. Actually, the new Bosley, now of course I can't remember his name, but he was Frank Catton in Ocean's 11. So that actor, he's super funny. The gentleman passed away early, he's young actually. At home, everybody's like, it's this person. I always do that when I listen to podcasts and they can't come up with their name.
Yeah.
But he was the second Bosley in the sequel movie. The Angels begin with trying to get information from a man who would have the most to gain from Knox's kidnapping, his competitor, Roger Corwin. Alex pretends to be his masseur and knocks him unconscious and downloads the contents of his phone. You like those phones? One of those old phones from 2000?
They're so old and they're like weird looking.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things in the plot that make you go, oh, this was 22 years ago when they made this movie.
And also like the whole movie, it had this like static-y look. I don't know how to describe it.
It just looked different. It looked old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like movies that are even older like don't have that. So I don't know why.
Maybe it was on purpose. Maybe it was like part of the style.
Maybe. I don't understand, though.
Yeah, I don't know. As the Angels look deeper into security camera footage of the kidnapping, they are able to identify a creepy thin man as a member of the team of kidnappers.
Thin man! He's got weird hair.
I know. He has cool hair, man. What are you talking about?
Scary.
Little slick back. They think he's connected to Corwin, so that night the Angels and Bosley go to a party undercover to get more information from Corwin. At the party, Natalie falls for a guy named Pete, and they decide to go on a date. Bosley talks to Corwin, trying to get secrets from him. They eat together, and later sumo wrestle together. You don't think that part was funny? That's kind of funny. Kind of random, but yeah.
It was very random. Like, where'd they even get that stuff?
The guy's rich. He can get whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
At the party, the Angels spot the Thin Man and chase after him. A huge fight breaks out with the Thin Man. He escapes, but not before leading the Angels to Knox, who's all tied up. You like that fight scene?
They grabbed their hair. My question is, why did they fight with their hair down? Like, they should just have a hair tie with them at all times. That would be so much more functional.
The hair is a big thing for Charlie's Angels. They had huge hair back in the 70s. And even in this movie, like sometimes when they like wave their hair, they like wave it for like 10 seconds. Like it's way longer than anybody would regularly wave their hair.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just the joke behind it, that they have this like beautiful long hair and it's waving everywhere. But you're right. You should probably have your hair out of the way so you don't get it pulled if you're going to actually have a fight, right?
Yeah.
Knox tells the Angels that the kidnappers have also stolen part of his technology. If Corwin has the technology, he can use voice identification software and can track anyone in the world who uses his cell phone. The Angels continue to go after Corwin to make sure he isn't responsible for the stolen software.
They should call Charlie and be like, break your phone right now.
Yeah, throw your phone away. There's no need for... they don't know they were going after him, right? Later on, we find out.
Oh, that's true.
But it is kind of funny, like with Track My Phone and GPS, like anybody who has a phone is found, right?
Yeah.
So
it doesn't even need your voice.
No, exactly.
It'll track you.
But I'm saying that's how the technology... I mean,
that was crazy.
That was crazy good technology that they're going to change the world and throw bombs at people just because they can find them by their cell phone. The Angels go to the racetrack to get more information from Corwin. They put a recording device in Corwin's car. At the track, the Angels spot the Thin Man again. Natalie chases after him in a race car, and they leave the track and have a car chase. It ends in a game of chicken, where Natalie doesn't back down, and the Thin Man flies off the bridge into a river.
That's why I wrote chicken.
Yeah.
I was telling Dad before this how, like, in my notes, I just wrote chicken, and I was like, what is that about? It's just chicken, and now I understand. It all makes sense now.
It all makes sense. Because when you said that, I'm like, I don't remember a chicken in the movie, but maybe. But they did do chicken. Convinced now more than ever that Corwin is involved, the Angels agree to go on a heist to break into Corwin's headquarters and tap into his servers. Alex dresses like an angry teacher as a distraction and gets all the employees to follow her and be out of the way. Dylan and Natalie use retinal and fingerprint scans they stole beforehand to get into the first part of the server room.
They should have just knocked these people out and, like, dragged their bodies over and went, beef.
I know. It'd be easier than all the silly things that they did to get it.
Yeah.
Natalie, dressed in all white to be invisible, passes the second part of the room and does a gymnastics routine to get to the servers themselves.
Again, with the lasers that are visible.
Yeah. Once again, no good, right? You don't need it. She attaches a device to get all the information off of the servers. Later, Dylan goes home with Knox to make sure he is safe, and they end up sleeping together. Inappropriate!
We can't see anything.
Yeah, you don't see it. That's good. I mean, it's PG-13. Hello. Alex makes dinner for her boyfriend and is attacked by machine gun henchmen. Natalie goes out with Pete, and it goes really well, but then she's attacked in the bathroom.
She has a whole dance party.
Yeah, she goes on
He's
Soul
such a
Train.
good hype man, too.
Oh, he was super happy.
Yeah.
He was like really into her, like doing all the dance moves.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like Pete. He's a funny actor too.
And then he made friends with the backstage crew.
Yeah, the bouncers and all those guys. Yeah. Because he was like trying to talk to him, and then they were like totally ignoring him. And then at the end, when she kissed them, and then they were like, ah,
Yeah.
Like on his side. That's funny. Vivian Wood comes to see Bosley and drugs and kidnaps him for the information they got from Corwin's servers.
That's concerning.
Corwin is killed by the Thin Man. That's even more concerning. Then Knox fills Dylan in on the notorious plan.
I can just imagine Thin Man like swimming in a very strange way after like the chicken fight, because he like got his car exploded into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
So like he had to swim, and I can just imagine this like guy like creepily swimming.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. The kidnapping was a hoax. They used the Angels to hack into Corwin's server and use the technology to find and kill Charlie. Then Knox shoots at Dylan. All the Angels escape their predicaments and meet up at headquarters as it explodes. They figure out Bosley is being held in an old castle-like building in Carmel. They borrow a boat from Dylan's friend named Chad and make their way to the castle. You like the Chad?
Chad!
The Chad was funny. Do you like the Chad? He said it right.
I still don't understand him.
Yeah, he was just a goofy guy. They storm the castle. Alex goes to try to dismantle the technology. Natalie goes to free Bosley, and Dylan goes after Knox. Knox and Vivian capture and tie up Dylan. Then Knox calls Charlie to pinpoint his location. Knox leaves to go kill Charlie. Natalie frees Bosley and then gets into a fight with Vivian Wood. Dylan fights a bunch of henchmen when she is tied up, and Alex fights the Thin Man.
They put like a single piece of like duct tape over Alex, not Alex. Who is the one that was tied in the chair?
Dylan.
Dylan's mouth. If you just move your mouth enough, then the tape will fall off eventually.
One thing of tape won't work.
Yeah, exactly. And then she says, once I beat you all, I'm going to moonwalk out of here. But it wasn't even a moonwalk.
She beats them all up, and then she does dance out of the room, but she doesn't do a moonwalk. Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I honestly think she thought that was the moonwalk, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm going to moonwalk, and then she does exactly what she says she's going to do, but she doesn't moonwalk. You know, it's funny you bring up being taped. You know, when we were little, back in the day, my time.
Back in your day.
They used to tape kids who were talking too much. Like, they would put tape on your mouth, like, to tell you to be quiet, so.
That's rude.
It happened to me a couple times.
No!
Just a couple times. I got taped. But now I think it'd probably be a pretty bad situation if the teacher put tape on your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
but like you would immediately just rip it off.
Yeah.
Like your hands aren't tied up. If they tied up your hands, then it's gonna be a whole fight. They're getting fired, bro.
Well, I think if they tape your mouth shut, I think the teacher's gonna get in trouble now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Knox is leaving in a helicopter, but shoots a missile at everyone blowing up the castle. The Angels escape and get into a jeep Bosley just stole. They chase after Knox, and Alex shoots an arrow grappling hook at the helicopter, and the three Angels climb onto the helicopter. On the helicopter, Alex reprograms the remaining missile to be a heat-seeking missile. Natalie destroys the helicopter's navigation system, and Dylan gets a few licks in on Knox. When Knox shoots a missile at Charlie's house, turns around, and aims directly at the helicopter. The Angels jump off right before the missile destroys the helicopter. The Angels wash up ashore and try to see Charlie for the first time, but by the time they get there, he is gone and is talking to them on a speakerphone. At the end of the movie, the Angels take a nice vacation on the beach, and Charlie calls them. He's walking in the distance behind them, and Dylan turns around and sees him. The end.
The end.
The end. I don't know. It was fun. As I was writing the recap, I found about 30 plot holes, right? A lot of unnecessary things, a lot of, one of the last movies that we watched was Forrest Gump. It's such a great movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we watched this movie, and it's very, I don't know, very childish, very kiddie. Also, a lot of like innuendo, a lot of like suggestive materials. Yeah. And the girls were, I don't know. I want to hear what you think about whether this movie can be made today anyway. So, Natalie from Papi Approved Movies. Natalie from the movie. Could this movie still be made today?
Well, the premise could probably be made, but this exact movie, probably not.
All right, tell me more.
So, like, the whole situation that it's a group of 3 women belonging or being owned by, like, a company run by men is, like, kind of concerning.
Okay.
It's literally Charlie's Angels. Like, Charlie owns them.
Right, the possessive of Charlie. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
One thing that I really wanted to happen that didn't happen was I really expected that Charlie was gonna be, like, a girl. I thought that, like, it was, like, all a secret and, like, she was using a voice changer and stuff like that. But I was kind of sad when that didn't happen.
I think... No spoilers, but I think one of the newer movies, or maybe the last movie or the one after, we do find out later that Charlie is a woman or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I think this might be the 2019 version. I don't know. I can't remember properly, but I think maybe, you know, a movie made 19 years later probably remedied that issue. Yeah. Yeah.
There was also, like, a lot of racist moments specifically towards, like, Asians or, like, Alex. Like, when she baked her muffins, but, like, she's terrible at baking, they called them a Chinese fighting method. Because, like, insinuating that, like, Chinese people can't bake or something.
Or they were so hard that you can use them as weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, uh-huh.
And then when Alex is giving this one guy a massage, I don't understand. And the other 2 angels also dressed up in, like, this traditional, like, garb, and it was, like, kind of supposed to be for laughs, but it's more of, like, cultural appropriation.
Okay, yeah, I can see that, definitely. And they did something later with, they dress up like German ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah, so something similar to that later as well.
And then they also had the song where the Turning Japanese song.
Okay, yes, and that's true.
Which is, like, strange because they played it with, like, Alex, but, like, in the movie, Alex is supposed to be Chinese, so I don't understand.
Is she Chinese?
Yeah, because I think that she is, because they called it a Chinese fighting method. So I think they're, like, trying. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
It's very weird. Mm-hmm. They don't, like, ever specify or anything. That's it.
Okay. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
It does.
It does. Okay. It's funny that we watch movies that don't pass the Bechdel test, but are way less appropriate for, like, this movie, I think, it sexualizes the 3 characters, right?
Yeah.
I think the whole movie, it's about how sexy they are, how good looking they are. There's a scene where they all take off their shirts at the same time. And they're, like, walking onto the beach. You can see them from their back, but, like, they all undress. It's like a sexy scene, or just all in general, lots of sexualization, but it passes the Bechdel test.
That's why I think that the premise would be used, but the movie itself wouldn't be made.
Sure.
Because, like, they can still use the premise without making everything so, like, sexual.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, the Bechdel test is used to describe whether there is enough female representation in a movie. There are 3 criteria. First criteria is, are there 2 named females? Are there?
Yeah, there's Dylan, Alex, and Natalie. And there's also the evil tall lady that they fight.
Vivian Wood. Yeah. All right. The second one is, do they talk to each other?
Yeah. Vivian talks with a bunch of them while they're fighting, and they all talk to each other.
All right. And then do they talk about anything other than a man?
Yeah. At the beginning, they were talking about muffins.
Talking about muffins. They talk the whole movie, right? They talk to each other, especially not necessarily about men, but about the mission.
Yeah, mostly. But that's just one example.
That's one example. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, whenever you talked about, you always say, tastes like chicken. And that's where it came from.
No, I think I think that saying is like 100 years old. Like, I don't know where it came from, but it's in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken. I didn't get it from this movie. I think it's from a million different things, but.
This movie got it from somewhere else where you got it from.
I wonder. Well, I might have got it from this movie that got it from somewhere. Who knows? But I do wonder where the tastes like chicken, like,
Where did it originate?
Yeah, where did the funny thing about taste like chicken? Because everybody says everything tastes like chicken, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Friday. If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next time, we're watching Casino Royale, so I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!